My wife said, "This isn't what it looks like." I replied, "You made your choice. Live with it." Then I took photos, backed them up, filed for divorce, blocked her, changed the locks, called police, and let my lawyer subpoena the text records until court exposed how long it really went on. Welcome to AF Tales. Today's story is about a husband who walked in on an affair, stayed calm, and let the truth do the talking in court. As you listen, think about what you would do in that exact moment and whether you could stay that composed. 3 weeks ago, on a Tuesday afternoon, I left work early with a migraine. I just wanted to lie down in my own bed and shut my eyes for an hour. When I walked into the house, everything seemed normal until I heard noise upstairs. My first thought was, did we get robbed? Then I heard my wife laugh, not a polite laugh, her real laugh, the one she does when she's comfortable, when she's not performing. I walked up the stairs and opened the bedroom door. There they were. My wife, 33, and her coworker from the accounting firm in our bed. They didn't even hear me come in at first. When they finally noticed me standing there, my wife went pale. The guy scrambled for his clothes and started stammering apologies. My wife grabbed the sheet and tried the classic line. "This isn't what it looks like." I held up my hand. "Stop, just stop." She blinked like she was waiting for the explosion. The yelling, the throwing things, the begging. The begging is what she looked most ready for, like she needed it to make sense of what she was doing. Instead, I said, "If you want to go, go. I'm not stopping you." She frowned. "What?" "You heard me," I said. "If this is what you want, if he's what you want, then leave. I'm not going to beg you to stay or fight for someone who clearly doesn't want to be here." Her coworker was already half-dressed, edging toward the door like he thought I might swing at him. I stepped aside. "You can leave too," I said to him. "I'm not going to hit you, just go." He didn't need to be told twice. He practically ran out. My wife sat there clutching the sheet to her chest, staring at me like I'd broken the script. "You're really just letting me leave," she said. "What did you expect?" I asked. "A dramatic confrontation." Crying, begging, "I'm not doing that. You made your choice. Live with it." She got dressed, slow at first, like she thought I would crack. Like any second my calm would turn into panic and I'd say something that made her feel powerful again. I didn't. I stood there with my arms crossed and watched her pack a bag. "That's it," she said, almost offended. "You're not even going to fight for us." "There is no us to fight for," I said. "You ended that about 20 minutes ago." She left. Later I found out she went to her sister's place. Here's the part she didn't know. I'd been suspicious for about 2 months. She was working late more. She changed her phone passcode. She got defensive over simple questions about her day. It was a pattern, and I hated that I noticed it, but I did. 3 weeks before I walked in on them, I had already talked to a lawyer. Not because I wanted a divorce at the time, but because I wanted to know what I could do if the worst happened. That lawyer told me something important. In my state, adultery can matter in divorce outcomes, but only if you can prove it. Not rumors, not feelings, proof. So when I opened that bedroom door, I didn't let emotion drive the car. I pulled out my phone and took photos, clear ones, multiple angles, faces, time-stamped. No confusion about what was happening and who was in that room. This is one of those moments where people think calm equals weak. It doesn't. Calm is often control. While my wife was getting dressed, I sent the photos to myself and backed them up immediately. Then I let her leave without drama, like I didn't care. I think she took that calm as surrender. The next day I called my lawyer. "I have evidence, let's file." We filed that Friday morning. Adultery cited, evidence attached. My request was simple. I keep what I owned before marriage. I keep what I built. She leaves with what is hers. The papers were served on her at her sister's house the following Monday. According to her sister, my wife completely freaked out. She called me. I didn't answer. She texted, "We need to talk about this. You can't just file for divorce without discussing it with me first." I replied, "You didn't discuss sleeping with your coworker before doing it. I don't owe you a conversation." Then I blocked her number. From that point on, all communication went through attorneys. I wasn't happy. I wasn't celebrating. We'd been married 7 years. I thought we were building something real. But I also knew my worth, and I wasn't going to compete with an office affair for a place in my own marriage. People kept asking if I was okay. Honestly, not really. But I kept moving anyway. 2 weeks later, things moved faster than I expected. My wife hired an attorney. Her sister helped pay for it because my wife didn't have much savings. That detail mattered later. Her lawyer sent my lawyer a settlement proposal. They wanted 50% of the house, which I owned before the marriage, 50% of my $401k, alimony for 5 years, half of my business. I own a small contracting company. They also wanted the car paid off, even though it's in my name and she makes the payments. My lawyer actually laughed. Then he sent back our counteroffer. She gets her personal belongings. She keeps the car and takes over payments immediately, nothing else. The photos I took were attached to the filing and they were hard to argue with. Her attorney called mine. Apparently, my wife had downplayed what happened. She told her lawyer it was one mistake and that I overreacted. Then my lawyer sent over the photos. Her attorney went quiet, but that wasn't the only fallout. The coworker turned out to be married too, with kids. His wife didn't know. I didn't contact her. I didn't need another mess. But my wife's sister did. She was furious that my wife dragged this disaster into her home, and she decided everyone should face consequences. The coworker's wife called me and asked if I had proof. I told her to have her lawyer contact mine. Now there were 2 divorces, and my evidence became part of both. Then the job piece hit. Their company had a strict policy about relationships between employees. HR found out an anonymous tip. I honestly don't know who sent it, and both of them got fired. So in 3 weeks, my wife lost her job, her marriage, and her affair partner. That's not revenge. That's what happens when you light your own life on fire and the wind is strong. Her sister called me and asked me to talk to my wife. She's a mess, she said. Can you at least talk to her? Why? I asked. Because you were married 7 years, she said. Because she's depressed and not eating because she's family. She stopped being family when she brought someone else into our bed, I said. She made her choices. Now she lives with them. Her sister said I was being cruel. No, I said, I'm being realistic. Then she told me my wife was saying I was trying to take everything from her. I'm not taking anything, I said. I'm keeping what's mine and giving her what's hers. That's what divorce is. I hung up and I blocked her number 2. I didn't want guilt calls. I wanted clean lines. Then yesterday my wife showed up at the house. I had already changed the locks. The house is mine. My name has been on the deed since before the marriage. She pounded on the door, crying, saying we needed to talk. I told her through the door she couldn't be there. She kept pounding. So I called the police and said my soon-to-be ex-wife was trying to enter my property. When the officers arrived, she tried to play the victim. This is my house, she said. He can't just lock me out. One of the officers asked a simple question. Ma'am, whose name is on the deed? She admitted it was mine. Then it's his house, the officer said. You need to leave. You can coordinate pickup of belongings through your attorney. You can't show up unannounced. She left, but not before turning back and screaming that I was destroying her life and she had made one mistake. One mistake is spilling coffee. This was a decision, repeated in the place we were supposed to be safest. The hearing was scheduled for 3 weeks out and my lawyer said we had a strong case. The photos. The fact that she had been unemployed for the last year. She quit her job to find herself and I covered everything. I wasn't proud to say it. It just mattered. I still didn't feel like I was handling it well. I felt angry, hurt, betrayed. I just refused to give her the satisfaction of watching me fall apart. 4 weeks later, we had the court hearing and it was 2 days ago. Between the last stretch and the hearing, my wife tried 3 different angles. First, she claimed I was financially abusive, and that's why she sought comfort elsewhere. My lawyer brought bank statements. We had separate accounts. I paid the mortgage, utilities, groceries, about $3,200 a month. She paid her car, phone, and personal expenses when she was working. When she quit her job last year, I covered everything without complaint. That claim went nowhere. Second, She tried to say the house should be split because she contributed to its value by maintaining it. My lawyer asked for proof, receipts, repairs, improvements, anything. She had nothing because I did the repairs myself. I'm a contractor. I paid for the materials. That claim went nowhere too. Third, she tried to say the photos were illegally obtained and shouldn't be used. My lawyer's response was simple. They were taken in my own home, in my own bedroom, the moment I discovered what was happening. The judge agreed to admit them. Then came the part I didn't even know my lawyer had done. He had subpoenaed records. He stood up and told the court there were 328 text messages between my wife and her coworker over 4 months. He referenced location data showing multiple nights where she claimed she was going to the gym, but her phone showed her at the coworker's apartment. When he said that number out loud, 328, my wife's face changed like the air left the room. This is why you don't build your defense on denial when the paper trail exists. Her lawyer tried the single incident angle again. My lawyer didn't raise his voice. He didn't insult anyone, he just pointed at the evidence. The judge reviewed the photos. His expression went from neutral to disapproving. My wife started crying, loud, dramatic sobs. The judge told her to compose herself. Then the ruling came. I kept the house. It was premarital. I kept my $401k. She had not contributed to it. I kept my business. She was never involved. She kept her car and took over the remaining $8,000 in payments. She received $12,000 from our shared savings account. We had about $24,000. No alimony was awarded given the circumstances the court considered. Each of us paid our own legal fees. My wife looked stunned, like she had walked into a different reality than the one she imagined. She stood up and said, "This isn't fair. I have nothing. Where am I supposed to live?" The judge told her that wasn't the court's concern and that she should have considered consequences before choosing an affair. Outside the courthouse, her sister was waiting and started yelling at me. "You ruined her life," she said. "I didn't ruin anything," I replied. "She did." She said I should have been merciful and given her money to start over. "Why would I do that?" I asked. "She threw away 7 years. That doesn't earn a reward." Later that day, I got a text from an unknown number, my wife using someone else's phone. "I hope you're happy," she wrote. "You took everything from me," I replied. "I kept what was mine. You took our marriage and threw it away. We're even." Then I blocked that number too. After the ruling, her lawyer reached out again. My wife wanted me to buy out her car loan. She claimed she couldn't afford the payments. I told my lawyer, "That's not my problem." Honestly, I didn't feel victorious. I felt tired. This whole thing was exhausting. But I didn't regret the way I handled it. I could have screamed that day. I could have made a scene. I could have broken things and made myself look unstable. Instead, I stayed calm, documented what I saw, and let the process handle the rest. 6 weeks later, the divorce was finalized. About 3 months from filing to final decree. A few things happened after the hearing. My wife tried one last motion, claiming I was hiding assets. The new evidence was that I had a savings account from before we were married with about $35,000 in it. My lawyer responded that it was premarital savings. The judge denied her motion quickly and ordered her to pay about $1,800 for the legal cost of responding to it. She didn't have the money. Her parents paid it. The affair partner's divorce finalized too. His wife took him apart in court, full custody, house, most of his retirement, alimony. He ended up in a studio apartment. Turns out my wife thought he had money. He didn't. Nice car leased, fancy suits, debt, broke. So my wife left our marriage for someone who couldn't even support himself. According to the few mutual friends who still talked to her, she moved back in with her parents. Still unemployed. Spends a lot of days in bed watching TV. Some people told me I should feel bad for her. I didn't, but I also wasn't celebrating her misery. I just didn't care anymore. That's the part people don't understand. Not caring isn't the same as hating. It's just being done. As for me, the house felt empty. Too many memories. I decided to sell it and start fresh. I accepted an offer and I'm making about $40,000 more than I paid 5 years ago. My business is doing well. I landed 3 new contracts this month. Staying busy helps. I also started talking to someone. Not dating, just talking. Friend of a friend. She knows the whole story. She said she admired how I handled it. We'll see, I'm taking it slow. My ex reached out one final time through her mom. She's really struggling, her mom said. She made a mistake, but she learned from it. Would you consider helping her out, maybe some money to get back on her feet? No, I said. She's family. She was family, I said. She ended that when she brought someone else into our bed. Tell her to ask him for money. He doesn't have any, her mom said. Then she should have thought about that before throwing away a marriage to a man who did, I said. Then I hung up. Some people will hear all of this and call me cold. Maybe I am, but here's the truth. I gave her 7 years. Supported her when she quit her job to find herself. Paid for everything while she did it. Never held it over her head. She repaid that by cheating on me in our bed. I didn't destroy her life. I protected mine. There's a difference. The calm way I handled it wasn't because I didn't care. It was because I cared enough about myself not to waste energy on someone who already checked out. And the evidence I documented mattered. Without it, it could have turned into a messy argument where no one knows what's true. Instead, it was clear. I lost money. Legal fees piled up. I gave up half of our shared savings. It cost me peace for a while. But I kept my business, my retirement, my future, and my dignity. She got what she contributed and the consequences of what she chose. Is it harsh? Maybe. Is it fair? I think so. Here are the lessons I took from it. Lesson 1: when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Don't make excuses for betrayal. Lesson 2: calm doesn't mean weak. Calm can be strategy, and strategy can protect you. Lesson 3: don't argue with someone who is committed to rewriting reality. Set boundaries and stick to them. Lesson 4: consequences are not revenge. You don't have to destroy someone to refuse to carry them. Lesson 5: protect yourself first, because after the shock wears off, you still have to live with what's left. What would you have done if you walked into that bedroom and saw what he saw? And do you think staying calm was strength, or do you think it was emotional shutdown? Share what you think in the comments.